For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, we are live and amplified. So let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
I don't know.
It's like when I look what time it is, I'm also looking, like, I can't just check the time anymore. I'm looking at the emails I got. I'm looking at text, things I've got to do. And it's just like overwhelming seeing it visually. It's funny. Calm down my phone. I set my background as the desktop Windows 98 background.
Yeah.
From back in the day. So when my phone, they're like, that's familiar. Are you literally using a Windows 98 desktop as like your screensaver and background? I'm like, yes, because.
Actually, what I did recently was I turned all my notifications off of other than like anything to do with like work, all my notifications are off. And so like, if I want to go see how a post or something is doing on Facebook, I have to like physically go into the app and look. And I found that I don't use Facebook as much.
Me either anymore.
So that's really exciting. And
yeah,
I think I'm gonna keep.
Facebook memories are something that just like remind you of stuff all the time. And I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, Facebook kind of making me sad, making me feel old. It's making me sad. So I used to only get on Facebook to like check memories and, keep up with my family. But I actually got 100 friend requests in one day. That's what happened to me. I started getting friend requests like crazy. Yeah. And I accept a lot of people that send me friend requests, and something happened and I just got bombarded with friend requests. And now when I get on Facebook, it's mostly ads. Mm-hmm. So, I just started checking Instagram more because it was more simple to me. And it's easier to navigate. And that's where I was getting the most traction. So I kind of veered off of Facebook and just started using Instagram more. But like I say, the groups that I'm in Facebook are why I check it now. Like we're talking about the group.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, since we've already kind of got it going, we're just going to kind of slide right into the podcast because why not? So I'm sitting here with Rachel Edge. First off, I want to thank you for jumping on the podcast and reaching out to me like we were talking about a little bit ago, and just how funny kind of Facebook is nowadays, and just social media in general.
Have you seen the, what's it on Netflix, Social Dilemma?
I've seen it. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's something. They put really dramatic music behind it. And so when you're watching it, like I'm affected by music a lot, obviously. Yeah. So it's watching a scary movie in a documentary form. It was something.
I haven't watched it yet, but I see it pop up all the time. And I'm kind of getting to that point where I'm wrapping up the things that I've been watching on Netflix, and I'm going to be looking for something new to watch. And so that'll probably be one of the things.
Yeah, I suggest it. It makes you think about everything, but it's not something that I didn't already think about before. Mm-hmm. But these professionals, because, it's got people that have worked for Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Google, I think, all their input on everything. And I actually teach technology and music. I'm a technology specialist and a music specialist at the academy I work at. Oh, nice. And so I learned a lot this year about technology because of that. And it's just my wrap on it is it's ever changing. Yep. It's impossible to keep up with algorithms. Please stop. Yeah. I've just started using it more as like I used to when MySpace was cool. Do you remember MySpace?
Yep. Actually, I saw something pop up on Facebook the other day.
Yeah.
Somebody was trying to start a migrate back to MySpace hashtag, or I don't know if that's exactly what it was, but that's essentially what they were trying to do.
Because Tom was the best. Yep. I just loved it. And back then, I remember I had a MySpace in like 2008, maybe.
Mhm.
Back then, people posted whatever they wanted, and you could pick out your little background to your profile and have your favorite music playing. And back then, you didn't post when you were angry. You ranked your friends. That was the way to do it back in the day. Just rank them. Like, people would be moved to their top friend. That's why Tom was always my top friend.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember people getting offended because they weren't in my top 8 or whatever. And it's like,
it was drama. And see, social media has always been drama. We cannot deny this.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. So, so first off, once again, thank you for jumping on.
Thank you for
what's
everything.
kind of your background? What got you into music? Stuff like that.
Okay, so I grew up performing on stage at 4. My mom was a musician, and so she, taught me a lot, and I loved it. And so I was homeschooled. I'm skipping forward. I was homeschooled until the 7th grade because I would travel with my mother across Arkansas, Texas, Oklahoma, and just do festivals and art galleries and just perform. It was so much fun. So when I was 5 years old, I started singing every Tuesday night on a local radio station, and it was called Billy's House of Guitars. And we would just have like a live jam every Tuesday night. So I started doing that when I was 5. And from then on, it just, more things started happening. We started playing at more places. And like I say, just going everywhere. And I was young then, so it's kind of hard for me to actually remember. But I just remember singing like Patsy Cline, the Beatles, Hank Williams, really original, traditional country mixed with 60s rock, some rock, like House of the Rising Sun, like that kind of vibe. And also, what else? Yodeling. I yodeled. So back then, everyone would want to hear me yodel. And Patsy Montana was actually friends with my mother. Mm-hmm. So my mom had me learn how to play I Want to Be a Cowboy Sweetheart on the guitar. And so that was just like my main thing. So like we did yodeling and stuff like that and folky stuff. Bluegrass too. Like there really wasn't a genre when it came down to what we did. It was just whatever songs that we liked to do. And so in the 7th grade, I started going to public school because I wanted to play basketball and I love basketball. So started going to public school in the 7th grade. And I would sing the national anthem right before I would play basketball. So it never went away. Like I was in the 7th grade singing the national anthem, and then I'd have to go do layups because it's time to warm up. So still sang it like rodeo shows, joined choirs, just never let it completely fade out. And then when I graduated, I had already started writing songs then. And so since I'd started writing songs, someone suggested that I meet with a producer named Kent Wells. And I did. And I think this was right after I graduated high school. So it was my freshman year of college. I'd already decided I wanted to do music at this point. And really missed it from taking the time off during high school, because I was homeschooled before. Yeah. So came up here, met with him, met Dolly. That was amazing. And I just remember thinking, like, I just want to come back because I wanted to learn as much as I could before I made the move to Nashville, Tennessee. That was my 19-year-old brain. I was like, I want to be the best I can be and just have everything lined up. And I also wanted to graduate. I wanted to graduate college. And so I studied music. And while I was studying music in college, that opened up a lot of doors because I was getting to learn how to play the piano because I'd only played the guitar before then. So we had to piano. We had to practice in practice rooms, log our times. I had to learn how to sing opera, which was so challenging from someone that just never even touched that until I was 20. when I first started with opera.
Yeah.
And so then I started focusing on classical music because I was like, this is a new world. This is so hard. Like, this is so fun. And I fell in love with classical music. And
who introduced you to classical music, or what was it why did you start pursuing it, I guess?
Honestly, the university that I went to, that was where they put their focus.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
naturally, tons of things to focus on, like songwriting, specific things. This was where the focus was at my university. It was classical. And
okay.
I respected it, and I was such a stranger to it that it drew me to it more. And taking music theory, that was hard. And as someone that was just, growing up, writing her own songs and singing and doing things and having to learn technique and all that, it just really enhanced everything for me.
You're making me feel a lot better because I'm not a musician. Don't pretend to be, but when I was in my freshman year of college, I was trying to fill out my college course for my second semester, and I took a music theory class online.
I'm so sorry. Online. I'm so sorry. Sounds so hard.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'd be sitting in lectures and I'm like, I don't understand anything this person is talking about. Like,
nope.
What is going on here? And then the fact that you pursue it, you at that point you'd been singing for majority of your life, and you even say it's
and it was still news to me.
Yeah.
And so it made me look at music like, whoa, this is hard. And it just made me think, I'm glad I didn't, make the move yet, because I've got a lot to learn. And in the meantime, I noticed, I had really good vocal instructors. So I was noticing the change, and my range was just expanding. And it was just like really eye-opening as someone that just did it naturally her whole life to learn, enhance all of that. Because once you do country music your whole life, and then you start singing operas in German, French, Italian, and all that, it just gets really challenging. I remember my first time in my first voice lesson, I was so confused. I had no idea what was going on. They were talking about a head voice and this and that, which I had a head voice, but they just, I don't know. Vocal instructors are really good about honing in on enhancing it. That way you're not forcing your sound, and singing should be easy. It should never, feel like hard to do, and the healthier, the better. I also learned how important it was to drink water.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
For the vocal cords, which by the way, you're supposed to drink it the day before, because your vocal cords are the last thing to be hydrated. So if you have a show and you're drinking water the day of a show,
ain't going to do you any good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, I've learned that lesson just by doing this podcast. Like I started doing the podcast 5 years ago, but it was like not nearly as often as I've been doing it for the last year and a half. And I'd get to a point where I couldn't speak, and everybody's like, well, how much water are you drinking a day? I'm like, I don't know. It's like,
that's what I'd say.
I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't near enough. So now every day.
Yeah, and it's helped me a lot. I actually did 2 shows in one night after teaching music all day.
Yeah.
And my voice is not at its finest right now, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness. And so I'm on vocal rest. I have a show on Saturday, but I decided I'm on vocal rest until Saturday.
And you decided to do this podcast, and talking, from what I understand, is the hardest on your vocals?
No. Is it?
That's...
Not if you can take yourself out and just speak. Talking isn't hard for me. And I've never I sound like I'm hoarse really talking now.
Yeah.
I do?
No, not at all. No.
Okay. I was like, do I? Scary. No, but I know that I can catch it before it gets bad, because I do warm-ups. And the second something gets a little bit harder than it normally is, I'm thinking, take it easy, drink more water. But like I said, I told you I double booked myself for the first time.
Yeah.
And it would have been fine had I not considered the fact that I was teaching and talking to a class all day.
Yeah.
And on top of that, doing 2 shows. Yeah. So I was like, learn my lesson. I will do better next time because we can't lose the voice. That's the scariest world.
Yep, I 100% agree. And I've done similar things where I would book 3 podcasts a day for 3 weeks straight and come out of that sounding like a chain smoking grandma, pretty much.
All right, next we have you sound your voice is something now. I never finished like with the college thing though.
Yeah.
We were on opera and that got, really challenging, but I always wanted to succeed at it. And so I ended up auditioning for the Young Honors Choir. And that was something like I sent in an opera in Italian and French. And so I elected to go to Carnegie Hall while I was in college. So I got to go to perform at Carnegie Hall. And that was amazing. And that's when things started clicking with me like, oh, because for the longest time in my head, I didn't think I could do opera. That was like the achievement process that was like, you did, because you just sent in this audition and now you're getting to go to Carnegie. So I felt like classical music, I kind of mastered it at that point, not mastered, just made it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I did it. I must not, be horrible at opera, because the difference in when I sing songs I write, like I'm using soul in my voice, and opera is more just like technique. So I got to go to Carnegie Hall and I got to do workshops with the beautiful, the production was beautiful off Broadway, and it's Carole King musical.
Okay.
It was cool because while I was there, I was in the process of thinking, do I want to go into musical theater? Because I was also doing musical theater at the same time I was doing opera. I was like, do I want to go into musical theater, or do I want to write songs? Like I couldn't decide. And so the tickets that they sent us to, because they paid for like our Broadway thing, we did like a shop. Waitress was the one I did the dance workshop to. And then I went and saw Beautiful on Broadway. And that was Carole King's story. And she's an amazing songwriter. And it just kind of inspired me to, just keep thinking, like, what do I want to do when I graduate? What route do I want to take? And then the more I thought about it, the more I just, I love musical theater, and I spent some time focusing on acting and things, but I like being a singer-songwriter because I'm not taking on a role of anyone, and it's just kind of laid back for me personally, because I'm not taking a role and I'm just singing songs and it's just me.
Yep.
And at this point, I don't know who to be other than just me. So that's why I to singer-songwriting, singing and songwriting. And that's when I got back in contact with Kentwell's Productions and started recording my first EP. And that is going to drop at the end of this year. And I wanted to do it last year, but I just felt like it was just, last year was such a sad year.
Awesome. I do want to ask one quick question about the opera. You'd mentioned that you were singing that you were singing in other languages. I believe you said French and what was it? Okay.
We had to learn it in every language.
Okay. So were you just learning the songs the music specifically in those language, or was it like more of a, here's the basics of how the language is spoken and then going into the music?
Okay. So have you ever heard of IPA?
The beer? No.
International Phonics Alphabet.
Okay.
When you look up IPA, cheers, but no, International Phonics Alphabet. But, when you look in a dictionary and you see those symbols for how words are pronounced, so that translates to all languages. So when you learn the symbols and memorize them and learn the sounds for IPA, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm pretty sure it just sounds weird because I haven't said that word since like 2018, because that's when I had the, but you memorize the sounds, and then how did they do it? So once you learn how to pronounce things using IPA, you go back in to your repertoire and you IPA every single word. and you study the lyric. Everyone was different and everyone had their own preferences. I would study the lyrics in English and circle certain words in the opera that really stood out, because you don't want to like sing the word "the" really long, like "here comes the sun" or something like that. Like that's what I was always scared I would do, like put an emphasis on something that was just like a random not cool word. And so I would go back in and you would write above the sheet music. It was preference, but IPA format, the way to sing it, the way it's pronounced, and then study it, study what it's about, circle words that stand out to you, and decide what you want to put emphasis on while you're performing it.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just kind of curious if you had to go, what the recommended or preferred or best way to prepare for.
Definitely IPA, and it was very confusing, but it was such a fun class because I also used that when I was doing theater. If I needed to develop an accent, there's actually a website, IPA Translator, and it works with accents. So I could practice an accent in any way by reading the way, it would sound. If you, like, whenever I'd get a script, and if that was a part or a role with an accent, copy and paste it into the IPA Translator, it would print out. And because I knew how to read the sounds and what they sounded like, I could read it and have an accent. Pretty sure JFK read an entire speech in IPA in another language that he never knew.
Really?
Pretty sure. That's what was said in college. Could be fake. I'll have to look into it. I don't want to be tossing out any false information, but I remember hearing that he read an entire speech in a different language.
Hey,
new IPA.
It doesn't sound crazy. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because I think if I'm in Europe and I'm having trouble, I'm going to use Google Translator, and then I'm going to use IPA, and I may not hear what they're telling me, but they can hear what I'm saying to them, like whatever it may be.
Yeah, I completely understand. So you graduated college, and then you decided that you were more gearing towards being a singer-songwriter.
Yes.
And at what point did you end up moving out to Nashville, or were you already out in Nashville at this point?
Okay, so I literally graduated college on a Friday and had myself booked for a week of co-writes that Monday in Nashville. And in the meantime, I was looking for places to live. So I was just doing co-writes, looking for apartments, co-writes, apartments. Yeah. And I moved here in June 2019.
Okay.
And so literally been 2 years. It'll be 2 years this week.
Oh, that's awesome. And unfortunately, over half of it's been under COVID. That
was such a scary, sad time for me.
Yeah.
As for everyone, no one's alone in that. And so I'm thinking back to it, and I just remember thinking, oh my goodness, like no one knew what was going to happen. I knew I didn't want to release my music during it because I just wasn't, I just felt really sad during that entire year. It just, the whole, it really stressed me out like it did a lot of people. And I have older parents. They're a lot older. And so I remember people talking about risk and this. And so it was just always so scary to me. And I just focused on family during that phase. And then, and I wanted to be able to, main thing is I wanted to be able to put up my music and then go sing it for a crowd. That just to give it some extra life. Like I didn't want to, to me, it wasn't the same putting out a song and then not being able to perform. Like I'm a performer first and foremost. So me putting out music and not being able to give it wings was just something that I just avoided, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Now there were beautiful songs that came out through other artists during 2020. Seeing as how it was like my first year in Nashville and also a big city, number one, like in mind, I grew up in the smallest town in Arkansas.
Yeah.
I moved to Nashville, and the heat of it being on the rise, like everything was summertime, everything was lively, and then all of a sudden it stopped. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, and the entire world stopped with it. So I remember just being, really kind of detached from everything.
Yep, I completely understand. So given that you've been in Nashville for about 2 years now, even though over half of it's been under the pandemic and all that stuff, what's been the hardest part about adjusting to life in Nashville?
If you'd have asked me this, okay, so the last time I did interviews, I came right back to Arkansas, where I'm from, and did a radio, and I said traffic. It's so scary. It's so scary, but I learned a lot from the Uber drivers around town.
Okay.
And I just kind of got used to it. So I would say traffic. Now I would say the hardest thing to adjust to would be just a good one. Let me think. Give me a second. I'm thinking like the problem I have now, because this is my home, I'm not going anywhere. And the hardest thing for me to adjust to is there being so many things to do that it's overwhelming, because I used to plan trips and live in the middle of nowhere and only have the same places to eat every night. And so now it's just kind of like, breathe. There's a lot to do out there, and I can just get on Eventbrite and find something to do. And it's just really fun. Yeah. And so the hardest thing to adjust to is there always being something to do. And me, just, I don't know.
There's always something to do, and it feels like you're missing out on something.
It feels like I'm missing out on something. It feels like I'm not working hard enough. Yep. That's the key, because there's so much music in the city. I just want to be invested in it all the way. And I love being on stage. I love being in the studio. I love doing interviews. Like, I just want to not slow down. Yep. And so the biggest adjustment is just really my time. After, things started looking up in Nashville and everything was getting better, my life picked right back up. And so right now, my biggest adjustment in Nashville is being able to balance that.
Yep.
Because I'm just so much more busy than I've ever been in my entire life. And it's hard to keep up with. And I have 2 planners and a Google Calendar, and it just gets hectic. Small town life does not do that.
Yep. Can I give you a small piece of advice?
Yeah, I would love advice.
Okay. Well, it's fun it's very easy to get swept up into everything, because I'm very much like you. I like to be busy. I don't like to waste any time. I like to be, okay, I'm up at 7, and then from 7:30 a.m. until about a half hour before I go to bed, I like to have the day full and accounted for. Exactly. But the one thing that I've learned is you need to just stop, enjoy the moment, and just remember why you're doing all this.
I do.
Okay.
I'm not a smarty, but I love my life. And it gets hard because I know that it's stressful, but I mean, stress is unavoidable to me. There is not a person that I've met, and people open up to me like a book all the time. It's kind of crazy. And the biggest thing for me is some days are good. I'm a big advocate in standing up for the bad days, because especially like we're going back into social media right now. I can't pull out. Yeah. But you're online and you're like, my day sucks. And you're scrolling, and everyone else's life doesn't suck. So for me personally, I like to, I use Snapchat a lot. That's my go-to. To document and to just, keep a record, and just like, it's just like a safe space for me. It's like my new MySpace. That's what Snapchat is. So I've started being very real on there, just like talking about things and how I feel. And I've been more vulnerable on Facebook. I think I put a post a while back saying, Facebook, you don't scare me anymore. Like, it was just all too much. And so now I'm not happy unless I'm doing something. Like, my brain doesn't, like, I'm planning a vacation to the beach, and that's what I'm looking forward to. In the meantime, it's just as fun for me to feel accomplished. I don't know. Like, it's just the drive, I guess. I've never been able to separate from it, but I like it. But you're right. There can be a time when you do too much, which was Monday for me.
Yeah.
But unless I was like, okay, we won't do that again. We won't.
Well, and it's also one of those things where you just really got to listen to yourself and your body. And there will be times where I've been grinding really hard all week, and then like Wednesday or Thursday or that next Monday come up, and I'm just looking at my schedule, and it's just like, yep, I'm canceling all of this. I'm just going to sit here and watch Ozark for the third time for some,
See, I'm not a big TV watcher at all. I wish I was, because I think that's how a lot of people chill out.
Well, and it's just, I've come to realize that I need to have the ability to just kind of shut off every once in a while.
That's me every night before bed. I literally have a record player, and my way of shutting off, it can be an audiobook, record player, playing piano, or just listening to music on my patio. Really. Yeah. That's my shut off. And then I just sit there and I just that's my happy time. When the day is over, it's just not me watching movies. It's usually like sitting down, listening to music or playing piano.
Nice.
That's my chill day.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, I wish that was the way I could just shut off and relax, but I listen to music so much for everything else that we do on Live and Amplified that it's just kind of like, I find myself analyzing everything.
Right. See, yeah, I have been told that I listen to music for background noise whenever I do that thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. That's it. When they said that, I was shocked. I was like, background noise, what? But that's not true all the time, because it is background music, but I'm always listening to lyrics, and I'm always, like you say, analyzing.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess sometimes when I put on a song, it's to jam out. Sometimes I put on a song to feel a type of way.
Yeah. Well, that's where I go into more of my commercially, because I have like 7 different playlists on my Spotify, and I have one that's just like straight up. No, there's like very little independent music on there. And so if like I really need to shut things down, I'll just turn that playlist on, because I don't need to analyze that one to death. It's just
okay, well, same here in a way. There are songs that pop up that I can't make myself delete.
Yeah.
Even though when I hear them, I'm like, next.
Yeah.
I'm either burnt out, or I'm just thinking that song makes me sad, or that song makes me too amped up, or that song is not how I'm feeling right now. So I literally next until something pops up, and I'm like, this will do.
Yeah. Yep. No, I completely get it. So let's go ahead and jump into your music and what you got going on right now. You released a single back in 2020, and now you're getting ready to release the next single, and it's all leading towards an EP, correct?
Yes. So this is my EP. I'm just releasing singles, and I think once it's done, I'll do, some merch and things like that. To go along with it as a package, like a little thing. But yeah, I just like, I want every song to resonate at a certain time. And so I'm releasing them as singles, and I have 4 more to release until the EPs are out, because there were 5. My EP had 5 songs. Okay. So I'm releasing them as singles, and I have my new single coming up, and it's going to be out on the 22nd. And the time's flying by. It feels like just 2 weeks ago that it doesn't seem like 2 weeks ago, excuse me, that I set the release date, picked out the album art and all that. And now it's already mid-June almost, and I'm feeling, excited. It's weird. It's so much easier this time around than the first time I released the song. I always said, once I really, after I released that song, something in my artistry just changed.
Yeah.
It's so scary to put out your first song. I don't know if every artist is this way, but for me, it was so scary to put out that very first one. And then to throw a music video with it, it was just kind of like, bam, bam, here I am.
Yeah.
This is me. And so it really helped me to be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I think it made me really comfortable with releasing everything else with ease, because time's just flying by. I remember last time I was, I was just so nervous. But after I put my song out in the world and it got the reactions it did, and the things that people have shared with me because of that song, it's just really comforting, and it gives me confidence and just like contentness. Is contentness a word? Makes me feel. I'll change it.
Yeah.
Makes me content. And so now that stress of what will people think, this and that, is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because when you put out a song and you get a lot of people's feedback,
mm-hmm.
eventually you quit worrying about what other people think.
Yep.
Because today there's always going to be something negative or this or that. And once I learned that lesson, it's just like, oh, okay, well, I know where I stand now. So yeah, I'm rambling. I do that.
No, you're good. You're making very valid points. So I'm going to let you keep going.
So with this song, I'm not stressed about anything. It's just the matter of, making sure that I'm presenting it the way I want it to be presented, mm-hmm. because all The Man I Love Is Dead. And from the live shows I've done with it, that title, people sometimes gasp, and I'm thinking, this isn't what you think.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So, yeah, I have to be careful with it. And TikTok banned it. They didn't ban it, but they reported that it was like bad because I put like a teaser of it at one point, and I had with the listening room. And so I was introducing the song, and I said, the title is "Man I Love Is Dead," and they were like, "I guess." And one of the musicians that I had around with said, "Did you kill him?" And everyone was like laughing. I was like, "No, I didn't kill him. Like, that's not what it's about." And so I put a little clip on TikTok, and then TikTok, like, I was hashtagging "RIP, The Man I Love Is Dead," and so TikTok like was watching it, but then they put it back up. Yeah. I guess as speculation, but for a while it was under review, and I was thinking, guys, it's just a title.
Yeah. Oh, that's. Will there be a music video for this one as well?
See, I had one. I released my last one immediately after. About a week after, I think I released my single. I learned so much from my first music video, and it just, like, I have a really good videographer, and so we're working together right now. This is a song that reflects me personally. My last song was more of a debut tribute to my parents, because I wanted them to know I'd always find my highway back home to them. Like, they're my number one support, and I love them so much, and they're who I grew up playing music with, my mother. So this video is different because it's just all me. Like, it's not a tribute song, and it's not anything. It's just all me. Yep. So I'm extra aware of what I want to put in it, what I don't. Now, my mind changes a lot, so I'm just bouncing ideas with him back and forth. So I don't know when it will come out, but it will be. There definitely will be one. Yes.
Gotcha. So I take it you haven't quite started filming that one yet?
Maybe I have. I have clips.
Okay.
Yes, I have clips. I do.
Fair.
I have an outline. I do.
Okay, that's fair.
I want it to be, I don't know, music videos scare a lot of people. Now, I've learned that if I don't spend too much time thinking about it and just go with random things that just like pop up, like I'll be shopping and I'll see something, I'll be like, that's something I want.
Yeah.
In this video, mainly with clothes, but also with just items that I see that remind me of my song. I'm thinking, like, I saw a bottle of wine the other day that was perfect, and I was like, I want that. somewhere, anywhere, doesn't matter. So yeah, I don't like to plan out things like in perfect detail.
Yeah.
I like to, gather up my own ideas and collaborate, because I owe my videographer so much for my last video. He is a pro, and it just went very smoothly because of him.
Nice. So
Yep.
I do have to ask about the last music video.
Okay.
Did you record? Was that video of you actually in the studio recording the single, or was that like?
Yes.
After, okay.
I wanted it to be. I always said, whenever I first, like, I remember, and I'm acting the same way about this video now.
Yeah.
It's just hard for me to talk about something that's going to be a video. It's just hard for me to wrap my head around it because I haven't seen it.
Yep.
And when I see all of it, that's when I'll know what to say. Until then, it's just a project.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, I wanted to have a behind the scenes moment mixed with sunlight, just my favorite things that I've bought in Nashville clothes wise. And just like the studio honestly felt like my home because it's in the country. And so I wanted to film it there because I'm thinking, that's my second home away from a home, and it's country and it's perfect. Like, let's just do it there and get some behind the scenes footage. And so yeah, that was at the studio.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. I saw that and I was like, it could be actually at the studio, but not a lot of acoustic artists record live, because it looked like it was like a live recording set, but I don't know. Yeah.
It was, I don't really know. Like, I went in and it was just, I wanted to catch the sunlight. That was my focus. Like, I had a layout of what I wanted to do, but I wanted to catch the sunlight, and we did. And it made me so happy. I just thought it was so pretty. He did such a good job.
Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed the music video.
And then the footage of the truck driving away. I just loved like the tie into it. Like, it was just, I don't know. It was just fell together perfectly in my mind. And I remember when I didn't know what I wanted to drive. It's funny because I'm wearing the hat that I was in, but I didn't know what I wanted to drive for that scene. And someone showed me a picture of that truck, and I'm like, that one matches my hat. We'll do that one. That one matches the hat. I'm just really into colors too, so I'm thinking that'll be perfect, and it did.
Nice.
But yeah,
that's awesome. So you got the new single releasing in just under 2 weeks, if my math is correct.
Yeah, you're right. Yes.
I don't math very well, but I think that's right.
I math at all, but you are right, because there is an internal clock for when a single is coming out.
What's kind of going through your mind right now as we kind of gear up for that release?
Honestly, I've been so on the go that it's hard for me to think about it. Like, I wrote down everything that I did my last single release so that it wouldn't be stressful of a time.
Yeah.
Right now, my parents are in town, and we're going to go out to dinner later, and, have been doing shows and sending press releases, and just honestly, what's going through my mind about it is just more calmness, more excitement than nerves this time, honestly.
Yeah.
More excitement than nerves. Number one, the drive behind this song is so powerful for me right now. The drive behind it, and the fact that it's so personal. Yeah. It's just, it's like, I'm so excited because I think once this song is out in the world, because I wrote this 2 years ago. Once it's out in the world, it'll just make me feel a lot better, because I don't know. I wanted it to be my second single release for a reason. It's my second favorite on the EP. Highway Back Home was my first, and this one's my second.
Gotcha. Since we're on the EP side of things, what went into the song selection process for it? Did you already have like all these songs written, or did you specifically write knowing you were putting these songs on an EP?
I don't know. I just picked the favorites of the ones that I had written. Yeah.
Okay.
Pick the favorites of the ones that I'd written, and those were the ones I chose. And yeah.
Gotcha. So this is like a conglomeration of your favorite songs that you've written. That's essentially what it. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They're the favorite ones that I've written for sure.
Gotcha. Oh, it's awesome. And then as far as like your writing and creative process, what's kind of your process when you sit down to write?
It happens in different ways. Sometimes I'll get a melody. Most often it's just lyrics. I'll write things down throughout the day. Sometimes I'll sit down and just write a song just in 10 minutes. And there's been 3 songs in my life that I've sat down and written in, like, I'm not going to say 10 minutes, but I will say about 30 that I just love so much. And then there are the type of songs that I go back to and play with. And then I just bounce around because I have notes in my phone. That if you're asking me my process, I have notes. Yeah. Crazy amount of notes and ideas. And I just jot them down. I'll go back to it, finish it. Piano. It's weird because sometimes I'll write songs on the guitar and sometimes I write them on the piano, and then it's like impossible for my brain to retrack it. Yeah. As I learn it. Because they're different sounds, I don't know. When I'm feeling emotional, it's very easy for me to write a song. When I'm feeling creative, it's easy for me to go back into my ideas and notes and play with it. And it's kind of like a puzzle then. Yeah. Yeah. And I write with Bill DeLuigi a lot. He's the one I wrote Highway Back Home with. And just sharing ideas with my favorite songwriters, co-writers. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Are you all kind of always writing, or do you take breaks, or like what kind of goes? Everyone I know is always right. I mean, not everyone I know, that is so not true. But I write all the time. Okay. I do. Like 3 in the morning. Gotcha. Well, because I know sometimes people need to take like a creative break because they got writer's block or whatever, or so it's just always kind of curious because there's a lot of musicians that are able to just always like, oh, Red Ferrari, that's a song, like whatever it is. So it's always interesting. Yeah, I have so many songs that I've written right now that I am doing the same thing that I did with my EP, going back, trying to find out which ones I like and why I like them, and is the message what I want, that's what I'm doing now. But as far as writing, there are some nights that I'll wake up and write in the middle of the night. And there are days, like most days, that I'll just write down things and play, like apps, talking about apps and watching TV. Like I like to play with the notes in my phone and search what I wrote years ago and pick and choose from different songs that I've written. And sometimes some songs that I've written in different folders go well together, and just, I don't know. It's just like, honestly. Gotcha. It's very fair. I don't want to keep you too much longer because I know you mentioned the valuable lesson, the value of time and spending time with your family, which is really cool that you're able to do that. So excited. Outside, what's that? I said I'm just so happy because they showed up yesterday. It'd been a long time since I'd seen them. Oh, so, probably during the pandemic, you probably hadn't seen them probably for over a year, maybe? Or no, not? I saw them during the pandemic, in the middle of the pandemic. I can't keep up. That whole thing. I have a single called The Blur. That's The Blur. That one's coming out. Nice. Outside of music, what's kind of your thing? What do you do when you need a little you time? I love to hike so much. I love to go to caves. I like go to the West. I like Las Vegas. I like going to Utah with my sister. I like just travel. That's what it is. Travel and exploring and going to waterfalls and deserts and climbing in lava tunnels. I went in a lava tunnel one time. It wasn't a cave, like stuff like that, just adventurous and outdoors. I love that. I like to fish. I haven't been fishing in a long time, but I love to fish. And I like to cook, believe it or not. I do like to cook. Some people don't know that about me and they think I can't cook. And I'm like, yeah, I can.
That's
Stuff like that. And family time, family, outdoors, fun, pool.
Yeah.
And Nashville.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's awesome. So you brought up that you like to go into caves and caverns and stuff like that. Have you been up to the caverns in Bowling Green, Kentucky?
I went to a cave in Kentucky when I was little called Mammoth Cave.
Okay.
It was terrifying. I remember, have you been there?
I've heard of it. I've not been there. Yeah.
That's not, no, I haven't been to Kentucky much. I want to go to Kentucky. I've been to Kentucky casino that's close to around here. Yeah. That's right. But I haven't been to that Bowling Green, but that's a familiar. I've heard that since I moved here. I've heard it a lot. But yeah, the cave I went to in Kentucky was the Mammoth Cave, and it was awesome / terrifying.
Gotcha. And if you like to travel out west, go into New Mexico and go to Carlsbad Caverns.
Okay, good to know.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of the place I went to in New Mexico. It was so pretty. I can't think of
was it Taos, Santa Fe?
Yeah. Yes.
I lived in New Mexico for 4 years, so it's just a matter of running down the big cities and we'll figure it out.
I love New Mexico. My dad actually lived in New Mexico for a while too. And I don't know. The weather there to me is like perfect.
Yeah. Especially I lived in Roswell.
Oh,
yeah. I lived there for 4 years and I'm currently planning my move back to Roswell, trying to figure that one out. So
we'll figure it out.
You know, it's one of those things where you don't know what you have until you leave it. And then it's just like, I didn't hate it as much as I thought I did. So
yeah, New Mexico is gorgeous. I love New Mexico.
Yeah.
And Arizona.
I haven't been to Arizona that much, but the company that I currently work for, we have 2 stations in Arizona, and it's just kind of like Tucson wouldn't be a bad move either.
Check it out. Check out Arizona.
Yeah. Last time I was there, I was driving back from Vegas and it was 2 a.m. So it's kind of like, I don't. Yeah.
Vegas. I haven't been to Vegas since the pandemic started and I want to go back so bad. I love Vegas, but I wonder what it's like. I need to watch the news more, I suppose, because I have no idea what's going on.
From everything I've been seeing, it's kind of back up in full swing from what I've been seeing. So,
well, good to know. Good to know for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to say thank you so much because you've been so nice and it's been so easy to talk to you. You're so chill. Thank you so much for asking me about my life. Like that's
not a problem. Evelyn, thank you for reaching out to me, you know, because as many people that are on like we'll just kind of say the Yep page in general, like the Young Professionals of Nashville page. I'm always finding new people. It's so crazy and bizarre. And it's just like, okay.
Oh yeah. It's got so much information on it. And the reason is because everyone there is there to help out. Like they want to share information and they're so kind to the people that don't know, you know, which route to take for this or that. And meeting people, like you said, just meeting professionals and just, I don't know. It's kind of like Reddit in a way.
Yeah. I mean, I love Reddit. Reddit's really cool, but yeah, I get what you're saying. So, if people want to check out your music or follow you on any of your socials, where's the best place for them to do that?
If you Google Rachel Edge, my Facebook will probably pop up. And then from there, you can find my Instagram. I I have a website, racheledgemusic.com. That's got a bio and my links to my socials in it. Instagram, I love the number 5. And so my Instagram's a little different. It's Rachel Edge 5. And yeah, you can just find me on any platform. I'm out on every single, like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, all that, TikTok. Yeah. So just search Rachel Edge and you will be able to find me. And if you cannot, shoot me an email from my website, I guess. But no, mainly Facebook is where I get the most, like, I don't know. When I Google myself, it's Facebook that pops up. So if you get on there and send me a message, it may take a while to respond, like I said, because, you know.
Because you're always got something going on.
I got something going on, but I do love reaching out to people.
Yep.
The best part about releasing my last single was all the people that I didn't even know caring.
Yep.
That's a beautiful feeling because I connected. And so connecting to people is why I'm doing this right now. Connecting to people. And so I just want everyone to never hesitate to reach out and give me a follow and just shoot me a DM on Instagram or Facebook or email. If you ever want to talk about anything, I will do my best to, answer all that and just connect with people, see what they think, especially since this is my second single and it's such a contrast between my first one. Really ready to see how it plays out. So
awesome. Well, I can't wait for people to hear the second single and just the EP in general. And for everyone that's just getting introduced to you, to just check out your music in general. I'm really excited. And I'm really excited to see where your career goes and all that stuff. So I'm glad we had the opportunity to meet.
Absolutely. I'm going to have dinner.
Yep.
Probably Phillies or something. I don't know yet. Gotta go to Walmart. So Walmart.
Gotcha. Well, once again, thank you so much for jumping on. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you guys later.